everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk About Blank, where we talk about everything. I'm your host, Baylor Hurst.
And I'm your co-host, Eric Park.
And here, right now, we have our good friend Justin Wynn with us.
Hello, hello.
Justin, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
And guys, we are so excited to officially launch on YouTube.
You can see us now.
You can see us now.
For some of you, that's not a good thing. But
Well, the good news is that you can still listen on iTunes and Google Play, or if you want to listen on Buzzsprout, you can do that as well. You can find the links to everything that we have at ltabpod.wordpress.com, and you can, of course, give to us at Patreon, support us, patreon.com/ltab. Now, before we get into it today, we're going to start a new thing. Every single week, Eric is going to be bringing us one of his movies from his collection. So, Eric, can you tell us a little bit about our movie of the week?
It's right here.
what we've got here is probably, if not arguably, the best action film ever made. George Miller's fourth rendition, Mad Max Fury Road. This movie's incredible. The story's really simple, but the action is incredible. Shot with almost little to no CGI at all. All practical, amazing effects with an incredible performance from Charlize Theron and an okay performance from Tom Hardy. There's not really much you can do with Mad Max.
It was as good as it could be.
Because Mad Max never talks. That's why that really dumb article made no sense, because Max never talks, like, ever.
Oh, yeah.
If you have time, look up Mad Max Feminist Road.
Funniest thing ever written.
That's
One
my
of my favorite
yeah.
review ever.
My favorite article I've ever read. All right.
Go see this movie.
Well, you can't go see it, but go watch
This movie.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I
great.
mean, internet.
I think it's a 9 out of 10. I really do.
It's good.
Yeah. About that.
I give it like, let's see. For an action movie, it's like one of the best. I give it 8 out of 10 staplers.
An 8 out of 10 staplers. Okay, Justin, let's dive into the news. What have we got?
All right. First, let's talk about the NFL.
Okay.
All right, and now we're into playoffs, the division round, which is going to be really excited. So on Saturday at 3:35 p.m., we first start with the Seahawks versus the Falcons.
And that's Central Time because we live in Central Time. The Seahawks versus the Falcons.
Yes.
I think that this will be a great game,
Definitely.
but I think in the end, the Seahawks cannot score enough to keep up with the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are going to tear that team apart.
I think the Seahawks have a pretty good chance, so I went with them.
You will?
Plus, they've had more playoff experience than the Falcons have.
Especially in recent years.
Yeah.
I believe that the Falcons will win, mainly because Matt Ryan is a beast.
Matty
I mean,
Ice.
I'd be okay with either one of those two teams winning.
But also, Matt Ryan does not have a very good record in the playoffs.
No, he doesn't.
He usually, I'm not going to say chokes because he doesn't fall apart, but he isn't usually near as productive in the playoffs.
Plus, his team kind of falls apart. Especially when he used to be in the playoffs, because he only had Rodney White and Tony Gonzalez to throw to. So now he's got a lot more weapons and a lot more offense to work with.
But I think in the end, especially with Earl Thomas being injured, I think that the Seahawks are going to end up losing this one.
Okay.
All right, what do we have next?
All right, next at 7:15 p.m. on Saturday, we have the Texans versus the Patriots.
Well, we all know the Patriots are going to win.
Yeah, unless there's a fluke, there's no way the Texans are beating the Patriots.
Actually, the Browns are going to win.
The joke's not funny
The
anymore.
joke's not funny anymore because they won a game.
And they're not in the playoffs. Their season's over.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're done.
Oh, man.
All right, what do we have next?
Next on Sunday at 12:05 p.m.
Hold on, do you guys want to hear me rant about how Tom Brady's the greatest again?
No.
You already
then
did
we
that
can-
last week.
Then we can keep
We
going.
don't. No, you mean every week since we've started doing football?
Yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
All right, 12:05 p.m. we have the Steelers versus the Chiefs.
I think that this will also be a great game.
Yeah, I
Well,
think all the
it's
games are going to be
playoffs.
good.
Yeah, except for the Texans and Patriots game. The Steelers versus the Chiefs, I think this will be a very good game. I think that in the end, though, you got Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell playing for the first time together in a playoff game. I think that those three together are just too powerful for a Chiefs team that is well-rounded, but isn't necessarily great in any areas. I think in the end, the Steelers' greatness on the offensive side and their recent improvement on the defensive side, I think that's going to be too much for the Chiefs to handle.
I picked the Chiefs because I feel like Alex Smith is still kind of going up to the top
Game manager, man.
the top levels of quarterback, and Ben Roethlisberger's kind of, you can kind of tell he's past his prime a little. You can tell he's aging. So, and I feel like the Chiefs have a lot more receivers.
Plus, he's injured right now. He
Who?
should be in the game, but man, they don't want to play Landry Jones.
I just feel like the Chiefs have a lot more offensive weapons. I think like the defense is evenly matched. This is going to be more of a which offense plays better. So I'm still going to go with the Chiefs.
I think it is definitely an offensive battle, but I think in the end, you got arguably the best running back in the country as far as versatility. As far as just yards, Ezekiel Elliott all the way. But as far as versatility, Le'Veon Bell does it all.
Like he is the master of like the pause and like he stops and like just wrecks everyone like because they are confused and shocked by his movement and then just go right
Very
past him.
patient running back, very intelligent running back.
One of the smartest I've seen.
All right, before we head on to the next game, I'm going to call an audible here. And just the other day, the San Diego Chargers owners announced they're moving.
There's a pun, audible.
Oh, man, I hate you. Anyways, the San Diego Chargers have announced that they are moving to L.A. for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. They just
Didn't the Rams just move to LA?
Yeah, I guess LA is like we don't have enough professional sports teams.
So-
It's not enough being the entertainment capital of the world.
I mean, you do you, LA. If it makes you more money, then it's smart. But
I feel like it makes the Chargers more money than it does the actual city. I don't think the city needs
It's like
more money.
they're just like no more San Francisco.
you
Oh,
mean San Diego?
San Diego. I'm tired. I'm sorry.
You think Will's still gonna like them?
Yeah, but he's definitely not happy. I saw it on his Instagram. Our friend Will Gibson is a humongous Chargers fan.
Yeah, that's a sad life right there, being a Chargers fan.
Especially now. They used to be really good. But
Yeah, at least they won
Especially when
games.
Phillip Rivers was in his prime.
yeah, dude, he almost beat the Patriots during their perfect season when he tore his ACL.
Oh dang.
That dude was grinding.
Yeah. All right, what do we have next?
All right, and the final game at 3:40 p.m. on Sunday is the Packers versus the Cowboys.
Oh, man.
And you know who I'm gonna pick?
The Packers?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Cowboys.
Man, I think this might be the most important game of the playoffs.
Definitely.
I really do.
This will make or break the Cowboys. How about their Super Bowl run that everyone thinks might happen?
Well, yeah, because this is. Here's the deal. As a Patriots fan, I want the Cowboys to win this game. Because while the Cowboys are an all-around better team, there has never been someone like Aaron Rodgers. Just straight up, the greatest quarterback of all time is Tom Brady, but the most talented quarterback that I've ever seen is Aaron Rodgers.
That dude
Agreed.
is a beast.
He has one of the best arms I've ever seen, some of the best legs I've ever seen, and one of the best heads on a quarterback I've ever seen.
Plus, he's very good at scrambling if things fall apart.
And that offensive line is blocking very well for him. Ty Montgomery is starting to pick up that running game. Of course, Jordy Nelson is out this game.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt him.
That's going to hurt.
Andrew
number
Rodgers
one
doesn't
offensive
need...
weapon.
Aaron Rodgers can work with basically anyone, but that's his,
Having an elite receiver is only...
That's his go-to dude.
So,
If like they don't stop their Hail Marys, oh my gosh, it's over.
and earlier in the season, we were concerned about the Dallas Cowboys defense, very concerned. It has improved a lot over the season, but I'm still worried about their secondary against who may be the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. And so, here's the deal. I don't want them to, because I don't want the Patriots to have to face Aaron Rodgers. But I think that the Packers are too much. But I also want to say something else. I think if the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl, the Patriots will win simply because
Experience.
Bill Belichick, and that rookie quarterback. The Cowboys have not faced a team like the Patriots yet. They haven't faced a coach like Bill Belichick yet, and I don't think the Cowboys want a piece of the Patriots, especially with a rookie in their backfield.
Do you think that the Packers might win this just solely on experience? Because, Aaron Rodgers has been there, done that with the playoffs, and most of the Cowboys don't have playoff experience.
I think that it will be a factor, but I don't think it'll be the deciding factor. I think that the deciding factor is whether or not Aaron Rodgers plays the way he's played in the last 7 games, because that man is unstoppable when he plays at his best. Nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing. He threw for 4 touchdowns against the Giants defense, which is supposed to be one of, if not the most elite defenses of this year.
I think the
this
number one
football season.
defense is the Texans, which will make the Patriots and Texans game interesting.
No,
No.
they can't. They can't score.
Still
They've got.
gonna be good. Like I'd like to see that offense tear up. The
Tom
defense.
Brady, but
like
when it,
against a number one defense.
since
Go on.
Peyton Manning's retired, Tom Brady's the smartest quarterback, football wise, in the league, because he picks apart defense. Not as good as Peyton Manning did, but
I mean, he won more games than Peyton Manning.
that's also true. But he also played longer.
He won more Super Bowls than Peyton Manning.
That Brady. That's not the point.
You're fumbling on your
From
words. Like,
from purely just watching him play,
The eye test.
just like the way Peyton Manning would change like his play like 2 times and then just pick apart the defense. With,
Yeah.
Not that Brady's no slouch when it comes to analyzing defense, but I feel like Peyton Manning was just like, even in college, he'd be like changing like 3 audibles and then throwing like 800 yards because he was just a genius.
All right. Before we move on to what we're going to talk about next, I want to talk about the national championship.
I didn't get to watch it.
I did, and it was one of, if not the
Dude,
best
it
college
was-
games I've ever seen.
such a dramatic finish, and I loved it.
Very dramatic finish. It came down to literally 1 second. The last touchdown was on 1 second. I still think that Alabama's a better team. I just think it was Clemson's night.
And I'm just glad that Alabama's not winning it because I'm sick and tired of it.
I thought that it was a great game. It was everything that you could want out of a national championship. It was a shootout. At one point, it was a battle of defenses. I think that Clemson's defense held Alabama's offense to 12 straight third down conversions. They stopped.
Nice.
That's insane. No one's done that to Alabama in a long, long time, and it was really cool to see a team come back after a loss last year and come back and win. And not destroy them, not get lucky, it come down to the wire.
I heard it was a really good game. I just didn't watch it because I don't remember what I was doing. But
I watched the second quarter. I had to do something, and I came back to the fourth quarter, and oh my gosh.
Deshaun Watson,
oh, he's incredible. The
oh
dude's
my
insane.
gosh. And Mike Williams, how tall is he? He's like
Tall.
He's like crazy tall. He's jumping up. He comes down with everything.
Because he's tall.
Yeah, he comes down with he's like, he reminds me of Des Bryant that way. Jump up, you always get the ball no matter what happens. But I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about that. That was an incredible game, a great finish. It was really, really cool to see Clemson win for the first time in 35 years. And to beat Alabama in the first time since 1905.
Back when I was a boy.
Back when I was a boy.
We bought gas for a nickel.
I just love how dramatic the finish was. It literally did count to the last second in the last play. And it just got me hooked to it. Like, after, like glancing at TV, I'm like, whoa, that score. Whoa,
Yeah.
the plays. Whoa.
I think it was 41-45 was the final score. I believe so. I could be wrong. Don't freak out on me.
Calm down, internet.
All right, let's move on to our next thing. Sorry about that. I just saw that I forgot to put it on the list, and I wanted to talk about it.
All right, are we hitting the Golden Globes up?
Yep. Next, let's talk about the Golden Globes.
All right, since I'm the one who, as my mom once put it, watches award shows like some people watch football, I'm going to take the reins on this.
Okay.
The Golden Globes was a very interesting night, to say the least. This is probably one of the more dramatic ones. We've got Best Drama, no surprise there. As I predicted, Moonlight won.
Still haven't seen it.
I'm probably going to see it this weekend, maybe. We got Best Comedy Musical, no surprise, La La Land won.
Amen.
Baylor's happy about that.
Best Actor in a Drama, as I predicted, Casey Affleck won. Best Actress in a Drama, surprise, surprise, legendary French actress Isabelle Huppert won for her performance in Elle, which I've heard is actually really good. So, some reason, Aaron Taylor Johnson won for Best Supporting Actor for Nocturnal Animals. I've seen Nocturnal Animals. It's not a bad movie, and he's actually really good in it. But he went up against Mahershala Ali, which everyone was saying that's the guy who's going to win. And then even Jeff Bridges, who was really good in Hell or High Water. But just the fact that, oh man, I was so confused. Like, I literally yelled, what? What? It took me like a minute
That's
to recover.
Quicksilver, right? The bad Quicksilver?
Yes, the Marvel version. He's also in
Didn't see that coming.
Kick Butt.
Yeah, Kick Butt.
But
Okay, Best Supporting Actress is very deserving. The wonderful Viola Davis for Fences. She's incredible in that film. She probably needs to get an Oscar. And if
I
she
watched
won't,
the trailer and I almost cried.
she's so good in it. And then for Best Actor and Actress for Comedies / musicals, of course, is Emma Stone for La La Land and Ryan Gosling for La La Land. I really liked Ryan Gosling's speech because he gave a really big shout out to his wife, Eva Mendes, who was pregnant with one kid and had like a 3-year-old to take care of, and her brother was dying of cancer, and she stayed at home and took care of the family and her dying brother while he went to sing and dance. And he gave a huge shout out for her, and everyone was just
That's awesome.
okay.
Also, what stole the show for me though, on when Ryan Gosling won the award, in the background you can see Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield just kissing.
I don't understand why that happened, but
Well, Andrew Garfield said he did it to show Ryan Reynolds that he is still loved no matter what happens.
Man, I never want Ryan Reynolds to die. 20.
he's such a goofball.
It was so funny too. I'm like, what did I just saw? And I hit replay, and I was like, what?
I know Ryan Gosling probably was probably the more likely choice, but every inch of my being would have loved it if Ryan Reynolds had won for Deadpool. Okay, Best TV Comedy was surprisingly Atlanta. Donald Glover's
Surprisingly.
well, cause how weird that show is.
Yeah, it is very weird.
Not that the show's bad. I love Atlanta. Go see it, watch it, whatever.
It's one of the weirdest comedies I've seen. Sometimes it doesn't feel like a comedy, but it's still pretty funny.
Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, and his brother wrote this, and it's kind of like a weird version of what their life was like when they grew up in Atlanta. And I'm gonna rant a little. Best TV dramas, The Crown. Nothing against The Crown. It's a fine show, but when you're going up against This Is Us, Westworld, Stranger Things, and Game of Freaking Thrones, you don't deserve to win Best Drama. And another thing that made me mad was The Stupid Night Manager, which is nothing wrong with that show. That took a bunch of awards that should have gone to The People vs. OJ. Hugh Laurie won for Best Supporting Actor and beat Sterling K. Brown. Even Hugh Laurie didn't think he won. He looked so confused as he walked up on stage and literally just said, "I don't think you got this right." Well, he's said some sort of words of confusion. Tom Hiddleston beat Courtney B. Vance.
Well, it's because he's Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, well, Courtney B. Vance was way better.
You okay, man?
No! People vs. OJ is one of the best things I've ever seen on TV. And then it gets screwed over
By the night manager.
by The Night Manager, which was decent. Oh man, I'm done. I'm done, my dudes.
You're done?
Oh, and are we gonna talk about La La Land winning a bunch of everything?
Well, we may talk about La La Land a bit later, and I have a few things to mention that have to do with the Golden Globes.
Okay, well, all I say is oh man, La La Land won 7 out of 7 of its Golden Globes, most ever. Though, I really feel like Damien Chazelle shouldn't have won for Best Screenplay. Nothing against the screenplay, nothing against Damien Chazelle. He did a fantastic job with the film. I just feel like Kenneth Lonergan was more deserving of screenplay. Because Damien Chazelle's kind of a lock for Best Director. But anyways, nothing against it's still really good. I love La La Land. All right.
We also wanted to talk about Meryl Streep's speech. Meryl Streep gave a speech talking about, well, it was about a few different things, but the highlight of it was an attack on Donald Trump. Well, she never mentioned Donald Trump by name, but it's very obvious that it was about Donald Trump. And in the speech, she referenced his mocking of a disabled reporter.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Contrary to what he says, it's true.
It happened.
And we have video evidence of that, and he denies it. And I'm like, what?
It definitely
fake
happened.
news.
Oh yeah,
But
fake news. You're right.
It's media bias.
I wanted to address a few things that she said in her speech. She said that actors were the most vilified people on the planet.
I don't remember that.
I think she said, actors, journalists, and foreigners are the most vilified people on the planet. And, okay, first of all, actors are not the most vilified people on the planet.
What's that mean again?
What do you mean?
Vilified.
Put in a bad spotlight. People are against them.
They kind of
Made to seem like villains. And actors are not. You do not get oppressed as a famous actress. That's all I'm going to say about that. You do not get made out to be a villain. No one has ever thought that Meryl Streep was a villain until she gave this speech, and then Donald Trump people saw her as a villain. And journalists, whenever you become a journalist, you are basically asking to be vilified. That's a job that you can either be indifferent and never go anywhere, or you can be biased and hated. I'm sorry, but whenever you try to become a journalist, you are asking to be vilified.
Oh,
Now,
thanks, bud.
Oh.
Maybe I want to change majors.
but I mean, obviously, mocking a disabled person is not what I mean by that. I mean, whenever you become a journalist and you subscribe to a certain bias, whenever you go to Fox News, Democrats are going to hate you. Whenever you go to CNN, Republicans are going to hate you.
More like MSNBC.
MSNBC, my bad.
MSNBC is more liberal. CNN's more like, hey, watch us.
Hey, we're
Please.
still here.
No, it's not that they don't need people. They will like overblow everything out of proportion so you can watch their show because they
another-
need something to fill the 24 hours up
Yeah.
with.
And another thing is, I feel like I don't remember where I was going with there, but let's talk about the MMA football statement.
All right,
Did
I
one
got
of you
it.
guys write it down?
I did. It says Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. If you kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts. House, before you start ranting, because I know you're really agitated, I definitely understood what she was saying when she said she was saying we need, she's just supporting the fine arts, and fine arts are important and stuff, but she said it the way she said it, and the way people are going to misinterpret it because of the way she said it and the words she chose. She came off as snobbish and very rude.
I mean, and first of all, if all the foreigners left, we wouldn't get to watch MMA. That's just a fact, because half of the people that are in the UFC are from other countries, and a lot of people in football are from other countries. But throwing that aside, well, can you read the statement one more time?
Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. If you kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
Did someone in the NFL come out and make fun of acting and say, and to be like, acting isn't tough? Did anyone in MMA do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ronda Rousey shouldn't act.
Ronda Rousey should not act. Let's bring it back in for a second. I don't understand why you didn't say if they all left, acting wouldn't be what it is, or the arts wouldn't be what it is. Why do you have to, first of all, why do you have to say it that way? Why do you have to say you would watch MMA and football, and those are not the arts? Like the arts is some exclusive
she did,
club.
like, hand wave.
She did that. She did do that. But like it's some exclusive club that MMA and football aren't deserving of. First of all, lady, I'm gonna say lady.
Whoa.
We'll come back around to Donald Trump's comments. But first of all, MMA, professional MMA, and professional football are much harder than acting. It's a much harder club to get into. The only thing that you have to do for acting is be a halfway decent actor and have connections. Now, Meryl Streep is insanely talented. She is by no means overrated. She is by
So Donald Trump was wrong?
yes,
what?
yes, he was dead wrong when he called her
man.
overrated. She is not overrated. But what I'm saying is, can we be honest? Conor McGregor works a lot harder than Meryl Streep.
I really wouldn't know about either because I don't get to do those deep dark and roles, but
You can be 250 pounds and be a famous actor. 250 pounds of pure fat and be a famous actor. If you want to be in the UFC or football, you have to be muscle. And if you do have a belly, it has to be like you have to be a crazy amount of strong.
I don't think she was purposely attacking football and MMA though.
I know, but you got to focus on what you say. It's not about intention. I mean, it's not about intention. It's about perception. Perception is reality. If everyone thinks that you were attacking MMA and football, then you attacked MMA and football.
My problem with the little portion is it kind of took me out of her speech because I loved her speech. It was very powerful and overwhelming. However, that little thing just took me out of the speech, and it was kind of like, why she say that? Why she insulted something when her speech is about not insulting and stuff like that?
All right. Well,
I have one more question. we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. What what's the point? What point were we supposed to take away from that speech? Because it seemed like she just got up there and talked about something she was upset about. And it's a lifetime achievement speech. And I feel like if you take away 5 minutes from your lifetime achievement speech, then you have a point to make. But I don't know what the point is other than that she doesn't like Donald Trump. You can't not like someone out of office, so I'm confused on why she would do this.
I feel like she just felt like she needed, because she had the platform and said, I'm going to do it. Plus, the main point of the speech was, being, decent to each other. Because she said something around disrespect, basically, and, just don't be a bully.
The quote was, disrespect invites disrespect, violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose.
Which is correct. Which is completely correct. But you know what no one's focusing on? That.
It's because people are dumb.
Yeah, everyone is focusing on the MMA and football thing.
And Twitter,
And
Donald Trump.
I wouldn't say that people are dumb. I would say that in crafting this, I'm not calling Meryl Streep dumb, but I'm saying that she did not think this speech through. Because if you want to get a point out to everyone, what it seems like is she crafted a speech for people that agreed with her, to persuade people that agree with her to agree with her more. The first thing that she did in her speech, she talked about this before she dove into the other things. She insulted MMA and football before she started her speech, automatically eliminating a huge demographic of people. Is she just going to persuade famous people to not like Trump more?
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
And with that being said...
Okay, I want to...
you got one more thing?
One of the more positive things about Meryl Streep is her loving tribute to a dear friend of hers, the wonderful, sincerely miss Carrie Fisher. She closed it off with, as my friend, the dear departed Princess Leia said to me once, take your broken heart and make it into art. And then she said thank you as she was holding back her tears and walked away.
It was very sad and powerful. Again, the whole speech was powerful except for the mixed martial art comment.
I wasn't like...
Which happened at the beginning, so by the end of it, you were back into it.
I wasn't like offended. I was just like, oh, come on now. Like,
yeah.
I knew what she meant. I was just like, oh, this isn't going to go over well.
Let's talk about that tribute. They were really good friends, right?
Yeah, I think... Plus, she starred in the adaptation of Carrie Fisher's memoirs. Mm-hmm. They had a really nice tribute to Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher.
That's good. They deserve it.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, with that being said, Justin, thanks for joining us for the news. I'll talk to you later, mate.
See you guys.
Woo! Oh, that was a weird handshake.
That was the weirdest handshake I've ever seen.
There you go.
Careful with that chair. Yeah, get that chair out of here.
Yeah.
No, you know what? You guys need a wall. That's the first step of our problems.
Then we won't be able to see each other. All right, Eric, let's get all comfy cozy in here.
Oh boy, this is a weird spot. All right, there we go.
All right, Eric. Justin is pointing at something.
Oh, he wants this water.
Okay.
I don't think you want my water.
Man,
would you like a water?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. So, Eric, this is YouTube launch day.
Yeah.
This is a day that we're very excited about. This is a day that I drank a Red Bull and got really excited during the news and ranted for a little bit too long because I am so excited for today. And with a special day, we also need a special subject. So, Eric, let's talk about the best movies of all time.
Woo! / favorites.
Yeah, they're really our favorite movies of all time.
But we definitely highly recommend these.
I mean, they're all incredible, so. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to break it down. We're going to give you guys a little bit. We're going to tell you a little bit of fun facts about our 3 favorite movies. We're going to give you a short plot summary. We're going to tell you what we thought was the best performance in that movie. And then we're going to tell you our favorite part. Usually with something like this, we would give you ratings, but...
These are all 10 out of 10.
These are all 10 out of 10.
Oh, and by the way, on mine, spoilers, because some of my movies go back as far as 75 years, so you've had plenty of time to watch these.
Yeah, spoiler alert on all of the movies we talk about.
Mine, you shouldn't be as worried about.
I'm not going to try to spoil anything, but if a spoiler slips out, you can't get mad at me. because I said spoiler alert for all of these movies.
Especially mine, because mine are old.
Mine. All right, so I'm very excited for this. And oh, by the way, a little fun fact: these are the only 3 movies that I give a 10 out of 10 to.
I give a 10 out of 10 to everything I like.
I'm kind of snooty about my 10s. All right, you ready to get straight into it?
Let's do this.
All right. Hey, hold on.
What?
Let's have a little toast to our first YouTube. A toast to YouTube.
To YouTube.
To YouTube.
Telling the story of tonight. Let's have another round tonight.
What is that from?
Hamilton, you noob.
I haven't listened to that soundtrack.
Probably because you're dumb.
Okay, great way to start off our new system.
Got him.
Good words, Baylor.
Got him good.
All right, Eric, I'm gonna start us out right now.
Okie dokie.
My third favorite movie of all time is 2015's The Big Short.
That's a good one.
It was nominated for 5 Oscars, and it won one of them for Best Writing in an adapted screenplay. And it follows the story of 4 outsiders who predict the collapse of the global economy. 4 outsiders that saw what no one else did, as Ryan Gosling puts it, simply because they looked. It's a very great movie, very performance-driven. If it wasn't for the performances of Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Christian Bale, and who's the 4th one?
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's Brad Pitt.
He's not really that big of a part of the movie.
He's great in it.
Well, that's just because he's good.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's just great in general, and it's got incredible performances. It's got phenomenal writing. Schmidt from New Girl is in it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Brad Pitt made an appearance at the Golden Globes.
He did?
He was repping his homie Moonlight because he's one of the main producers on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And everyone lost their mind when he walked on stage. Everyone was like, "Whoa, he's
Brad Pitt.
He's alive!"
All right, but The Big Short is a movie that's driven by performances, and the best performance, in my opinion, is Christian Bale's performance.
I could agree with you on that.
Christian Bale plays one of the people who discover it, and he has a glass eye that they did a really good job with. I know that that's kind of an easier effect to make, but it looked really, really good.
Someone made a joke saying if they had let him, Christian Bale probably would have gotten a glass eye.
Yes, he would have. Christian Bale is a phenomenal actor, and this is one of his best performances, which is saying something. That dude has a lot of great performances. And my favorite part was simply the ensemble cast, watching all of the characters interact, and I also like the cutaways with famous people like Margot Robbie and Selena Gomez.
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
For some reason,
It was great. It was a great movie. It was a phenomenal movie, and it is one of the 3 movies that I give a 10 out of 10 to. So if you can watch it, I believe it's on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
You can watch it on Netflix. Great movie. And yeah, that's all I have to say about The Big Short. Make sure that you watch it.
All right, my third favorite movie of all time is Martin Scorsese's masterpiece, Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver is a story about a insomniac taxi driver who drives around New York and befriends a 12-year-old prostitute and then decides to get upon himself to free her from her pimp and goes on a killing rampage to try to save her. It is incredible. It's dark. It shows the dark. It was one of the first movies to show the darker side of New York. It's filmed darker and grittier. Robert De Niro gives one of the best performances I've ever seen anyone ever give. There's a lot of... You can analyze this movie forever and ever and ever. Every single performance is good. Jodie Foster, who plays the prostitute, because she was 12 when the movie came out. Harvey Keitel, Peter Boyle, Sybil Shepherd, Albert Brooks, Martin Scorsese's amazing direction, the music, Paul Schrader's script. It's an incredible movie. One of my favorite parts is at the very end where after he's finished shooting up everyone, spoilers, he's covered in blood because he's been shot 8 times, and the cops go because they finally figure out what's going on. They bust in there, and you just see De Niro scorched in blood with his mohawk, pointing a gun to his head, going, no, a finger to his head as a gun going.
Okay, I was about to say, he shoots himself in the...
And then it just cuts, and you think he's dead. And then it cuts back, to this letter that the family of Jodie Foster's character sent him. It's an incredible movie. It's dark. Not everyone's gonna like it. The inner turmoil that Robert De Niro portrays is incredible. I believe the backstory is they don't actually address it. I just feel like it's one of those underlying themes you kind of catch on to. It's kind of like a statement of PTSD and how the Vietnam War affected people serving in it, because it kind of implies he was a Vietnam vet because he's got the jacket and he's like, I can't sleep, and he doesn't know how to communicate with people anymore because he's been subjected to horrible and terrible things. It's an incredible movie. I can't stress
So
that
best
enough.
performance is Robert De Niro?
Yes, every performance in that movie's good though.
All right.
Even Martin Scorsese has a good cameo.
He's in it?
Yeah, he plays this guy who's gonna shoot his wife because she's having an affair.
All right.
It's a very dark movie.
My number 2 is 2016's La La Land.
Oh, I listened to the soundtrack on the way here.
It's my favorite musical ever. I think it's the best musical ever made. That's very subjective, though. A lot of
Yeah.
people would disagree with me
Yeah.
about that.
I remember one time I was watching this podcast and someone said this might be better than Singing in the Rain, and everyone started yelling at him.
I think that it's the best musical that I've ever seen. It holds the record for most Golden Globes won in a night. 7 of them. You already listed all the Golden Globes that it won, right?
No, I didn't. I just
Best
said
director, best screenplay,
Best-
best actor, best actress, best score, best original song, and best directing.
yes. I didn't list all those, but those are the ones.
It's currently sitting at number 23 on IMDb's top 250.
I don't really count that list though.
I do.
There's a lot of factors that go into that.
Yeah, but it's the only top 250 list that I really respect
Have you
because
not
it's
looked at-
constantly updating.
Yeah.
And it's about a jazz pianist, Ryan Gosling character, that falls for an aspiring actress who is Emma Stone's character. And it's
Sebastian and Mia.
Sebastian and Mia. The best performance, I'm going to shock you guys with this, and I'm probably not going to be very popular for this. I liked Ryan Gosling better than Emma Stone. And it's a very close race there. And it's a very, very close one. But I thought that Ryan Gosling's performance was the best performance in that movie, strictly because of subtlety. Emma Stone, while phenomenal, while completely deserving of a Best Actress award, which she got, I'm going to give Ryan Gosling the edge up because at no point did he need to cry to make me feel a way. At no point did he need a big emotional scene to make me feel that way. And some parts that stand out to me is whenever him and Emma Stone are arguing, beautiful acting, beautiful writing for that scene. And then also whenever she says that she's not going to her audition, and he screams, "What?" And there's all this frustration and annoyance in his voice. But my favorite part of the movie with him in it, my favorite acting piece with him in it is whenever he calls her a baby. I really like that. And also I give it to him because of his learning how to play the piano for this movie.
Man, he's so good.
I know. And that was kind of the deciding factor for me. He learned to play the piano that well for this movie. And my favorite part was the ending. The ending when he realizes that the real dream was always her. And that his entire life he thought he was supposed to be a club owner. He thought he was supposed to play piano all of his life, but in reality, his life was about knowing and being with her.
I don't think that's
And then
it,
there's
'cause
that ending sequence.
Why would he smile then at the very end?
Well, I was about to explain.
Okay.
I was literally about to explain it because that entire sequence, whenever he's seeing what might have been, is about that. And then he stops playing, and then he looks at her, and then there's this moment of mutual agreement that their lives are better now, and that what happened was for the best. And then they smile, and then they nod, and they part ways.
I like the ending because it shows that you can, even though you're not together, you can still love someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that type of way.
Well, I'm always gonna love you is what they said to each other before that 5 years later sequence. And there are a lot of themes. Every time I see this movie, I get a new theme from it. And it's all around one of the best movies I've ever seen. And that's why it's number 2. All right, Eric, what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is the 1942 2, I believe, classic Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. Excuse me, Ingmar is the director. Ingrid Bergman. This is a story about a guy named Rick who owns a kind of like a little hotspot club in Casablanca during World War II, which is kind of like a safe place for like the Nazis and the French people and everything. And it's in the middle of World War II, and he hears about this rebel fighter that's escaped a concentration camp coming to Casablanca, named Richard. No, oh man, yeah, Richard Laszlo. I always remember his last name. I never remember his first name. And they come to this club, and out of nowhere, oh my goodness, Ingrid Bergman. She's also in La La Land. Like, her picture is not herself. She's dead. But the big poster in her room, Mia's room, is her. Comes in, and she runs into their piano player, who she's also acquainted with, named Sam. And she's like, "Play it for me, Sam." And he says, "No, I don't know how to play it," because he knows how to play it. He just won't because it hurts his friend's feelings. So he begins playing this song called "As Time Goes By," which is probably one of the best songs written for a movie ever. It's beautiful. It's sang well by Dooley Wilson, and you hear one of the best scenes in the movie. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's the best scene for when we do the thing, but one of the second best scenes when Rick comes angry because he's not supposed to play that song because that woman broke his heart. He comes in and goes, "Sam, I thought I told you never to play that again." And then he makes eye contact with her, and this big rough Humphrey Bogart character just drops. He just is speechless, and he's trying not to, and he's just avoiding her because of what happens is they met together when they were in Paris. They were the Nazis were about to invade. He said, "Meet me on the train and we'll run away together." He's sitting out there in the rain waiting for her. She gets a letter. He gets a letter saying, "I'm sorry, I can't be with you," and he leaves. And he's heartbroken. And that's why he never lets anyone in. And the reason why she leaves is because she thought her husband Laszlo was dead, and then she finds out he's alive. So she goes to be with him. There's a lot of suspense, a great romantic story, lots of interesting story. One of the best scenes, the best scene in this movie, and one of the best scenes ever put to film, is the scene at the end where he's gotten the plane ticket. He tells her that him and her are going to run away together, but he realizes that she can't because Laszlo's important to help fight the Nazis and defeat them, and the only way he's going to go on is if she's with him. So he forces her to go on that plane, sacrificing himself and his happiness for the better good of humanity. And she's crying, going, "I don't want to go." And he grabs her by the cheek subtly and goes, "We'll always have Paris." Kisses her on the cheek and goes, "Here's looking at you, kid." And then she walks off as the plane flies away. And he says one of the most iconic lines in film as his friend Louis walks away because they're probably about to get arrested. Goes, "Louis, I feel like this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." The end. Credits roll. It's honestly one of the best movies ever made. That's the reason why every like film thing has it in like the top 5 of best movies ever made. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
All right, well, we're about to get to our number 1, but before we do, we're going to have one of our famous games of rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first.
Okie dokie.
All right, 2 out of 3. Ready for this? Wait, we got to get it in the...
All
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yeah.
Rock,
1, 2,
paper,
3,
scissors,
shoot.
shoot.
1, 2, 3, shoot. All right, I get first. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, man.
All right, I get to talk about my movie.
Wonder what your movie is, Baylor.
Wait, do I talk about it first or last?
I don't know. We didn't decide that.
I'll talk about mine last since I won.
Okay.
Bet.
All right, my number 1 movie is, excuse me, Francis Ford Coppola's crime epic, The Godfather.
What? You hate that movie.
Oh, yeah. This is also, there's a reason why this movie's also in everyone's top 5. Some people think it is the best movie. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. It is an incredible movie about family, portrayal, love, lost, tragedy, everything you want in a movie, violence even. There's some dirty stuff too, if that's your thing in the movie. It has everything you want, with an amazing story, with an amazing ensemble cast, a perfect movie. It's a story that follows the Corleone family in 1941 in New York. It follows Vito Corleone, who is the mafia don and the head of the Corleone family. There's his sons. You have Al Pacino's Michael Corleone. You have James Caan as Sonny Corleone. You have John Cazale as Fredo Corleone. Then you have an incredible performance as Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen. You have Diane Keaton as Al Pacino's girlfriend Kate. Yeah, I think that's her name. Then you have Talia Shire plays their daughter. Plays the sister. It's an there's just so many good performances in this movie. It's incredible. Anyways, they go through family. You just see what the life is like as a mob boss as you go through all the things in their life. And there's this really cool scene where he, because this police captain and this other rival family attempts to murder his father. Michael Al Pacino's character has one of his friends sneak in a gun into this restaurant they're eating at. He goes to the bathroom, sneaks it out, runs out, walks out there casually. They kind of like have like a look of confusion. Then he just goes bang. One hits him in the throat. He's bleeding out. Goes bang in the head. Other guy looking really confused. He kind of grins. Bang! Shoots him. Puts the gun down. Walks off and goes off into Italy, hiding into Italy. There's so much I could talk about. I could talk about this movie for hours. It's incredible. Obviously, the most iconic performance in this movie, and probably in film in general, is Marlon Brando's portrayal of Vito Corleone. He makes you feel like he's an old man, even though he's only in his 40s. You believed he was a 72 wise, fatherly man. Even though he does terrible things, as you find out in the second movie, he's still a loving and nurturing and father. He's a mentor to his godson. He's a singer. I forgot his name. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. It's won 3 Oscars. Won Best Screenplay Adapted, I believe. Best Actor, which was Marlon Brando. Then Best Picture. It is arguably, actually may not even be arguably, one of the best films ever made. I highly recommend it. Go see it. Watch it, whatever. Go watch the movie.
All right. My number 1 is the greatest comic book movie ever made. I think that we can agree on that.
Green Lantern.
Yes, I forgot about that one. It's number 4 on IMDb's top 250, and it's one of 2 to be in the last 16 years, and the only one in the last decade to be included on IMDb's top 250. If you're curious, the other one is 2003's Return of the King.
Wait, what'd you say?
It's one of 2 in the last 16 years to be on IMDb's top 10, and it's the only one in the last decade to be in the top 10. It's the best comic book movie ever made. I already said that. It is a next to flawless movie that was snubbed at the Oscars simply because it was a comic book movie. It was the best movie made of 2008 by far. It should have won an Oscar for best drama or whatever. It would be a drama in the Oscars.
Oscar doesn't do categories like that. That's only for the Golden Globes.
Well, Best Picture of the Year. It should have won Best Picture.
It did get nominated for Best Picture, I believe.
It should have won it. It was the best movie made in 2008 by far, and it's one of the best movies made of all time, and definitely the best movie made after 2000. It is. It's about Bruce Wayne. He's facing his biggest psychological and physical test yet when he faces off against not only the mob but a villain in the Joker.
Who's that?
He's a pretty big deal. He's pretty great.
And being confused of why Rachel looks different from the first movie.
That was a little bit distracting. Maggie Gyllenhaal. I know. The best performance, I mean, it's obviously Heath Ledger, but because of Heath Ledger, he did win an Oscar. That was definitely deserved. But because of his Oscar and because of his death, a lot of the performances in that movie are overlooked. We've got Lucius Fox as I mean, Morgan
Morgan
Freeman
Freeman
as
as
Lucius
Lucius
Fox,
Fox.
which is spot on from the comics. Michael Caine as Alfred, which isn't necessarily comic book accurate, but still incredible.
It works with the way that he's made in the movie.
Same thing with Christian Bale. Christian Bale works very well in the universe. He's a very good Batman for that universe. We've got Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. Flawless performance as Commissioner Gordon. One of the best comic book to screen adaptations I've ever seen in my entire life. He even looks like Commissioner Gordon.
Man, I'm so excited for J.K. Simmons.
I'm excited for that too.
That dude got ripped.
But then I think the most underrated performance, most overlooked performance in that movie is Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face. I think that was probably Aaron Eckhart's best performance in general, and I think it was one of the best performances as a villain that I've seen. And it's overlooked because of just how great Heath Ledger's Joker was. But if you pay attention and you watch that movie and you pay attention to Aaron Eckhart's performance, it's so good. It is the definition of what Two-Face should look like. But let's get back to the best performance. Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Oh, I think Jared Leto's better.
Okay, Mason. But
Savage.
Heath Ledger faced so much scrutiny whenever he got the role as the Joker.
I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't happy.
I didn't care. I remember. I was in my house. I was going to the bathroom, and I heard my dad go, "Baylor, come in here!" And I sprinted into the room, and there was a news report about Heath Ledger being cast as the Joker, and my dad was like, "There's no way that's gonna work." Little did we know. Heath Ledger as the Joker might be the best villain performance we have ever seen.
The only one that would probably be equal is Anthony Hopkins is Hannibal Lecter in the first one.
And it is just the scene where the pencil scene is phenomenally acted. The interrogation scene is phenomenally acted. And it's also very, very well written. What is that?
That part where he gets promoted and he just goes,
Yeah. That was genius. Everything about Heath Ledger's performance was genius. There was not one flaw of that performance.
He was too good.
It was too good.
He overshadows the rest of the movie.
It was too mind-blowingly good. It overshadows the rest of the movie, which is not a bad thing.
Sometimes I put Dark Knight on and then I'll just skip to all the Joker scenes.
They're so good, and he's so great in them. And
Come on, hit me!
Yeah.
Hit me!
Very few actors ever get the opportunity to do something as iconic as play the Joker. And 3 of them have done pretty well. Cesar Romero was pretty good. Jack Nicholson was solid. But Heath Ledger was
Let's not forget Mark Hamill.
bone-chillingly good. I'm talking about live action.
No.
Mark Hamill is also a flawless Joker.
Have you seen, that New Year's Eve tweet Donald Trump tweeted about
No?
the enemies and stuff? Well, Mark Hamill read it in his Joker voice. It was terrifying. I was so scared.
You need to show me that in a few minutes after we get done. My favorite part, whenever I sat down and started thinking of favorite parts, I thought it was going to be a scene with the Joker in it. But it actually ended up being the ending of the movie. I'm a sucker for a movie without a happy ending. If you'll notice, The Big Short, La La Land, and The Dark Knight all have less than happy endings.
Hey, so do mine.
And The Dark Knight at the very end, whenever he gives his speech, whenever Gary Oldman is talking about how he isn't a hero, he's a watchful protector, he's a guardian, he's a dark knight. And I remember sitting in that theater, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat, and I've got goosebumps all over my arms, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, a dark night.
Where's Rachel?
You ruined the ending.
Oh man!
But I remember sitting in the theater and just being like, what did I just watch? That was the best thing that I have ever seen. And being someone who loves Batman as much as I do, being someone who grew up reading the comics, watching Batman the animated series, I was so thankful for a current Batman adaptation, that was not only above average, but the best movie that I had ever seen. And it's filled with complex themes. It's good for people who like action movies. It's good for people who like deep psychological thrillers. It's not necessarily good for those who like romance, because Rachel kind of got fried. But other than that,
You should have saved her. You
should've-
should have saved her.
yep, that's exactly what Aaron Eckhart did.
Yeah, I know.
No, he goes, no, and his thing, why are you here? But it's the best sequel of all time, the best comic book movie of all time, and my pick for the best movie of all time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for our first YouTube episode. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah. Just kidding. I had fun.
All right, so remember, you can find all of our links to everything, including our social medias and Patreon. Thank you to everyone who gives to Patreon. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Like literally.
Seriously. And you can find all of our social media, everything you need to know, our blogs at ltabpod.wordpress.com. Thank you guys. Oh, wait. Social medias?
Oh, yeah. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Real Eric Park.
Okay.
Go do that.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Baylor Travis or Snapchat at Burst22, or you can find anything you need to know about me and the link to my other podcast at baylortravis.wordpress.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us, and we will be back next week.
Bye.
Thank you, and goodbye.